this is huge. Okay, we have gone from 12 to 48 megapixels on the main lens on the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the iPhone 14 Pro. Okay, now what does that allow us to do? Not only is it going to allow us to take sharper pictures, higher resolution pictures, because obviously we're going from 12 to 48, huge increase on it. We're going to be able to take faster shots, right? So the shutter speed on it is going to be ridiculously reduced. It's going to be much faster. So your action shots, or if you're doing anything like that's an action that's moving, it's going to be fast. It's going to be a lot quicker. But again, because we have 48 megapixels versus 12. And in addition to that, come to find out that each and every single one of those pixels has 100% zoom pixel rate. So they're all going to be able to be used for zooming in, as in none of them are going to be left out. They're all for zooming in. And on top of that, even when you do take your normal regular 48 megapixel picture, it's going to scale down to 12. But just in case you don't, you're going to be able to take that whole 48 megapixel picture. And what's great about it is that when you zoom in with the 48 megapixel sensor, you can still crop in and get that 12 megapixel area zone that you were already getting anyway. But again, because it's a much larger sensor, it's a much nicer sensor, it's going to be able to take in a lot more light, a lot more information. It's going to be able to, again, take those images in even quicker. Okay. Here, the other big thing that we're going to be having about this is that because we did upgrade from 12 to 48 megapixels, we are actually able to shoot in 4K RAW. Okay, that's I've never bought a DSLR camera because they're one of the most ridiculously expensive things on the face of the earth. Not only do you have to buy the camera body, you have to buy the lenses for it, you have to buy batteries, you have to buy storage. A lot of these are going to be either SD, they're usually not micro SD, or an MMC or an XD card. And usually with the really high-end ones like the Red cameras that Marquez uses, ridiculous expensive. You're looking at $8-7 grand for just the camera body, not including the lenses, not including your batteries, not including your storage, and those things are marked the heck up. You're looking at $50K for a camera setup. Obviously, it's a lot higher quality. I'm not trying to say, oh, this is going to be like a Red camera. No. But at least you're able to shoot in RAW. You're able to shoot in 4K RAW. And obviously, you're going to have to go to your settings. If I'm not mistaken, let's see. All right, so we can do ProRes and 4K at 30 frames per second maximum. Max time, it says it's 28 minutes. Holy cow. All right. So these file sizes are going to be so big. They're going to be so high quality, so high resolution that it's going to just take so much detail. You know what? And let's go ahead and just take a normal portrait picture. So then that is what a selfie would look like on the iPhone 14 Pro Max on the forward-facing camera on portrait mode. And then let's go ahead and, we're already able to record ProRes, so let's just go ahead and bump it up to, let's take off ProRes. What else can we do? We can do cinematic mode, right? We can do cinematic mode at 4K, up to 30 frames per second also. So then this is what video looks and sounds like on the iPhone 14 Pro Max in cinematic mode. So more than anything, this is supposed to just keep me in focus. It's supposed to make me the center of attention and keep everything else slightly out of the depth of view, right? And it's supposed to just make it look like, again, you're the movie star, you're the center of the action, and you know what? I'm feeling this. Like I have an iPhone 11, I have a 12, and a 13 that I'm looking at right away, and I immediately see a difference in quality. This thing is able to just capture so much more light. Holy cow! Yeah. Okay, Apple. All right. Okay, Apple. All right. Okay. Holy cow! Oh, okay, buddy. I see you, Apple. Holy cow! That thing looks really good. Holy cow! Yeah. So then. That looks really good though. Bro, I literally just shaved and you can already see this thing coming in. Holy cow. Man, this thing is sharp. And that's not even like the main back sensor, just the selfie one. That thing is flipping. So then this is a video. Can you see me? Yeah. Looks and sounds like on the iPhone 14 Pro Max in 4K ProRes, but again, we're doing it on the back sensor. I don't know if there's a difference. There should be a difference versus the forward one because this one's just so much bigger. Okay, Okay, and last but not least, guys, another thing that we were able to do is that we are able to have action mode, which is able to shoot 60 frames per second at up to 2.8K. We can definitely lower it. It can be just 1080p. Can it go higher? Okay, no. All right, so 2.8K, 60 frames per second, which is supposed to keep an object or a subject in your field of view in focus. It's kind of like cinematic mode, but it's a little more high intensity, it's a little more demanding, and it's definitely supposed to be able to keep up with a lot of things. Again, think a dog, a drone, something that you can, or like your body in the motorcycle, something that you can keep up with. However, something that I did notice, just like Marquez mentioned, is that even if you are in a really, really well lit environment, like for example, when I was showing my coworkers the action mode at where I work at a furniture store, there's lights everywhere. It's a well lit show. Like not only are there overhead lights, there's lights that are pointing at the individual products, right? There's just lights that are out there to focus your light and focus your attention on products. It still said more light is required. Like even here, I mean, okay, now it's not gonna say it, you piece of crap. But usually it's always flipping saying more light required. But of course now it's not gonna flip and do it. But let's go and fire up Genshin Impact. It's supposed to be able to do at 120 frames per second. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off the case for this just right now. Usually I just play at the lowest settings. I play at 30 frames per second. I play at the lowest resolution setting. And that more than gets the job done. And you know what? Usually on my other phones, they start getting hot, after like maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. They get uncomfortably hot, and it's not the most fun thing in the world. And I guess I've never noticed it before, just because that's what I've always had to deal with, right? So I figured like that was fairly normal, and it really is, because your phone still working, especially on a high demanding game like this. It's a beautiful game. However, I'm not sure if it's just the newer processor. I'm not sure if it's because the phone has more thermal mass, like because the phone is physically larger, right? So it has much more mass, so it has a lot more material to get hot, right? So it's going to take the processor a lot longer to cook it. Think of like a cooking appliance. Think of something that you're baking, right? The larger something is, the more weight it has to it, of course, the longer it's going to take to cook. And I feel like it's something similar right here, right? The processor is definitely taking a little bit longer to heat up the phone when it's on the lowest setting, and I'm such a huge fan of that, because it's able to keep the phone cooler for longer, and that just makes it be such a more comfortable experience when I'm playing video games again, because I myself didn't actually run hot. I'm a warm guy, right? So I really get hot by myself. Without really doing any activity, right? I just naturally get hot. I'm not fat yet, but I'm about to get there. But I just know how to get hot, okay? And the fact that the phone is able to keep cool at such high intense usage, while I'm playing Genshin Impact, is just pretty good. And again, I'm not sure, it might be a little bit column A, column B, that it's not only a newer processor, but I do have a 13, not a 13 Pro Max. I have for the 13, going from a 13 to a 14 Pro Max. I would have thought it was not that much of a difference. But holy cow, it is night and day. And again, the fact that we are able to do 120 frames per second is just crazy to me. Now, I'm afraid, I'm going to try to put this separately, but I'm afraid that it's not going to be able to go ahead and display the full 110 frames per second, because the rates of the video is only recorded at 60 frames per second. So I don't think it's gonna work that way, but I'll definitely let you guys know. YouTube has kind of been a little wonky. They have not been letting me post gameplay footage, and they said if you do that again, we'll ban you. So right now we are unmonetized. We're not making any money off of YouTube, but because again, apparently YouTube doesn't like just straight gameplay footage. I have to put my face on it. But the problem is that my face is not being recorded at 120. It's been recorded at 60. So that's it. So again, we finished. Nice floor. I don't know if we were like on the second or third chamber or whatever, but we're done for right now. It was definitely a nice gameplay. It was definitely a nice spot to play at. I do like a lot of the spots that are in Genshin. It's such a nice open world game. It's so flipping beautiful to me. Let's go and we'll go to the, let's see, what's the Jade Chamber. There we go. People are always asking me, why do you like this game so much? But it's definitely cooler than what it was before. And it's such a beautiful game. It's such a beautiful scene. Go ahead and leave me in the comments. What are your thoughts on this phone? I'm definitely a fan of it. I think it's a pretty good phone. Again, just because I didn't think there was much of a difference between the 13 and the 14, but it's a 13 versus a 14 Pro Max. And as always, thanks for watching.